Hi friends, my channel is called Minivan Muse. I travel in my 2023 Honda Odyssey named Betty White, and we travel around the country to beautiful places, interesting places, and I'm happy that you're here to travel along with us. Hi friends, welcome to a tour of Betty White, my Honda Odyssey. Unfortunately, the sound was terrible, and so I'm gonna have to do a voiceover. Here she is, my van. Again, she's a 2023 Honda Odyssey Sport model, and I'm really super grateful to have Betty. Let's take a look in the front. In the driver's side door panel, I keep a few things. I have these envelope style window covers that keep the bugs out. Those are really handy to have. I also have this little thing called a skeeter beater that goes across my sunroof so that I can have my sunroof open, and it's a little net covering to keep the bugs out. A little microfiber towel, always good to have. And right there I keep some pepper spray, flashlight, and hand sanitizer. The other side, in the front, I made a recent video about this table or shelf that I made to hold my Icy Breeze. It's a portable air conditioner. You could check out the other video if you want to know more about that. On the passenger seat footwell, I keep my Scepter water tank. I have a little stool there that helps me clean my windows when I'm at the car wash, a little step stool. I have a little cooler bag. Could put a bag of ice or a thermos with some cold water, things like that. And then behind there I have a jacket. Here, my grocery bags. In my center console, I do have a trash bag there. It's not for smelly kind of trash, it's just for any kind of trash when I'm driving, and then when I stop, I dispose of it in an ethically and responsible manner. I also keep right there my Hot Logic. This is a really cool, kind of like a hot plate. You can put a frozen dinner or some leftovers in there, plug it into the cigarette lighter, and an hour or so later, you got a hot meal. And I keep that Hot Logic right there next to the trash can in the center console. Okay, let's show you now the back cabin. My WeatherTech front windshield cover sits right there with a little bungee. It's just a pain to have that in the front. It's so big, so I found a nice space there in the back. And I can, when I stop, I can turn my body, pull it up front, put up the window cover. Behind the passenger seat at the headrest, there's a little Molly panel, and I've attached a Molly bag. I keep my spork. I have my lighter there to light up my stove. In this car organizer, I have vinegar, I have Dr. Bronner's, toilet paper, I have a dish rag and a washable paper towel. That's pretty cool. Saves the environment a little bit. There I have my toilet, the magic toilet. It kind of collapses up and collapses down, and I can put it right there. In the car organizer above where I have the toilet paper, I also have my poop bags. And that blue thermos there I use to spit out when I'm brushing my teeth. So, kind of like your bathroom spot. So, underneath my platform here, I keep a little wooden box. It's actually empty at the moment. Behind that wooden box, I have a round basket. In this basket, I keep some puzzles, things to keep me busy and occupied in the evening when I'm parked. Here I have a little Molly bag that's on a hook there, and I like to have that to put my flip-flops in. It's nice to keep your shoes kind of off the floor. Next, I'm showing you this wooden box here. It's attached to my table with nuts and bolts and pretty stable. I keep my handheld vacuum there. I'm usually vacuuming something up each day, so I like to keep it handy. I also have my hot coffee mug in there. There's nothing in it right now, but it's just there for the moment. This is a bag that if I buy fruit, I can put it in there. Fruit stays longer if it can have air kind of surrounding it. And then the reason that box is there, the number one reason, is to put my shoes. Again, I don't like to have my shoes on the floor or rolling around, so that box is primarily for my shoes. This is my gooseneck. I can put my phone or an iPad in there and watch TV in the evening time. This is a new addition. It wasn't in my previous van tour. I had this wire basket. I wanted to put it to use, so I used nuts and bolts and attached it to my table. There is my small water bottle that I fill up each day. I need about that much water each night. I fill it from my Scepter water tank up front. The next container holds this pet bedding. People use it to put it in the toilet to absorb liquids. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of it, but I bought some and I need to use it up. And then this thing is actually used to have protein smoothie powder in it. But what I found is it works pretty good as kind of like a trash can. I have a trash can in the back you're going to see in a few minutes, but if I'm cooking or something and I have just a little bit of trash I want to throw away, it's got a nice lid on it. It is not 100% smell proof, but it's a good kind of mini trash bag, and it can handle, liquids or gross food trash because I can put it in there and then close the top on it. Now we're looking at my shelf. I made a separate video about this metal shelf that I attached with bungee cords to those side rails that you see. And I keep flat things up there. So my collapsible sink sits up there. I have my WeatherTech shades for my second row windows. I have a WeatherTech shade for the back window. And I also keep this little sheet pan. In my cooking video, I show that I usually put my stove on that just to keep anything that might be burning from flying off and hitting the floor of the van. So I use that for cooking. And then when I'm done, clean it off, put it away. When I'm done washing dishes or washing my face or whatever, I wipe down the sink, make sure it's dry, and put it up there. That's been really a game changer because it keeps flat things as a space for them. Little cargo net here. I usually put my clothes in there for the next day. All right, let's check out the cabin from the other side. Just like on the opposite side, I have a wooden box here. This box keeps plastic grocery bags that I basically use as trash bags. So I always like to have a nice supply. There's a package of kind of these shower cloths, and then there's another package of going to the bathroom wipes. On this side, I have what's called a molly panel. It's that long thing, and to that molly panel, you can attach these bags here. This one I'm mostly going to use for clothes, but right now it has something that's called a Lunatech in it. I don't have a USB faucet, so I like using this thing because I can put water in it, warm water, pressurize the water, and then that thing that I'm holding in my right hand is kind of like the faucet. You can turn it on and a nice spray comes out, and you can wash your hands or put some water in your hands and wash your face. It's all I've got right now when it comes to faucet. So in this molly bag that I have right here, I plan to put clothes during my trip. You know, it could fit some socks, some undergarments, couple shirts, things like that. Certainly not all my clothes, but it could probably fit a bunch of them. This that you see here is a little coat rack, and I use it mostly in the wintertime to hang jackets and things like that in the evening time. Can also be useful in the summer for shirts and things like that. Behind this molly panel in the pouch behind the passenger seat, I have a back scratcher, and that green thing is to clean the front inside windshield, which can get kind of gross when you're driving and you're on a trip. You can also see my curtains there tucked in to the pocket that I put across the seats when I'm sleeping in the evening time. Here on the floor, I have a nice kind of tapestry that a friend gave me a long time ago, kind of like a rug. But underneath that, I have this nice cutout, lots of stuff that can be put under it. The first thing, that white bin, is actually an ice cube tray. I have a damp rid in there. You know, damp rid collects moisture out of the air. Roll of poop bags and a roll of toilet paper. Behind that, you can see there's a little shelf, and on that shelf I have a couple cans of isopro for my stove. I'm trying to make use of all of the space there. Basket behind, and then the white ice cube tray. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to talk about is my shelf. I started out with these 4 slotted angles. They're pieces of steel, got them at Home Depot, and they have holes in them. And the holes are great because you can put nuts and bolts and, you know, connect the table together. So I have 2 shelves, again, got them at Home Depot. They're 2 feet by 10 inches long. And I placed them far enough apart where you can put these baskets in there. Up on top, I have a paper towel rack, just drilled screws into the top shelf there, the top of the table. This is my cooking basket. I'm going to take it down in a couple minutes and show you more about it. And then next to it, I have a plastic container. It holds a blackout curtain for my back window, and also has a damp rid in it to just collect condensation. These 4 baskets that are placed in between the 2 shelves, the first one holds my charging cords for phone and computer. I also have a bag with manuals for my power stations and stuff in case I need to read them and refresh my memory. This basket has cooking utensils and salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. The next basket holds food. Right now it has some coffee creamer and some batteries. I don't use a lot of battery powered stuff, but I have a few just in case. And the last basket has some tea, instant coffee, and a can of soup at the moment. Underneath the shelf with the baskets, there's my power station. That's one of my Blue Eddies. And you see it's on top of a little wooden shelf that I made. And the wooden shelf was made to raise up the power station. And that was so that I could have access to the plugs and the USB ports in front. Without that little wooden shelf there that I made, the power station was too low for me to access the plugs and stuff because of that box sitting in the front. Behind the power station is my fridge. This is a 20-liter Alpicool, and 20 liters is enough for me. Carries 2 or 3 days worth of food, and I'm always fairly close enough to a grocery store that I could buy more food. That's why I don't need a bigger one. Making sure that I have the space clear of the fridge vent, because if that's covered, you use more power to keep it cool. I have this foldable table. This I can use for doing puzzles, or I can cook on it, and it's big enough for my needs. And then whenever I'm done with it, I'll just fold it up and put it back. I do have a fan. Always need to have a fan. Keep the air circulating. So now I'm going to talk about my bed. I have a trifold mattress. Got it from Amazon. 30 inches wide. They come in different widths, and it's 6 inches thick. They come in different thicknesses, but I went for the thickest one that I could find. I keep it in couch mode during the day because I like to have a lot of space. I don't want to feel claustrophobic. So during the day, it's in couch mode and kind of folded up. What I do in the evening time when I'm ready to go to bed is that I will unfold the bed. This pillowcase, I saw this, someone else on YouTube was doing this. They have a pillowcase, but instead of it being a pillow, what's inside there is my sheets and a light blanket. That means in the morning I can just shove the sheets in, zip it up. I don't have to fold sheets and blankets. This is my actual pillow, put into a somewhat decorative kind of pillowcase, more for looks than anything else. Put it to the side. I have a little pink throw there at the moment. Lightweight, can be used as a blanket to keep warm or just for decoration. Move the table out of the way, and then I can pull out the bed. I do need to sometimes move that gooseneck out of the way to unfold the bed, and then I can place the gooseneck wherever is convenient. So pull out the bed, and then I make the bed, sleep in the bed, and then in the morning when I get up, I have to unmake the bed and fold the mattress back up. No big deal. And now we're back in couch mode. Here is one of my latest changes to the van. I call it the Hideyhole. I cut a little square in the platform and made a lip to support the cutout door. I have a bag there with some more folded grocery bags, which I use for trash. Not quite sure what that is. And then here's a little container that has an extra microfiber towel in it and some crossword puzzle books and a coloring book. You know, just artsy crafts things to keep my mind and my hands occupied in the evening time. And it's very nice that it folds right into the floor. Next, I'm showing you my shelves. I kind of call this my nightstand. This is that weird area where if you're sitting in the third row seat, you put your elbow, and it's good space to use up, but it took me a while to find the right mix of things. So I made these two wooden shelves. I have my toiletries bag. I have a bag with some books, and then that light blue bag holds my iPad. It's not in there right now, but that's where it goes. And then this is kind of the real nightstand. Here's where I keep my two lights. I have two of these bio lights. I got them at REI. I've tried a few other lights, but I tend to really like these. They are, USB rechargeable. The small one is kind of like the night light, and you can change the light to be different colors and stuff. The bigger one is more of a utility light. I sometimes hang it from my shelf across the roof there with a little S-hook, and I use that for cookings to make sure I have enough light in there. Now I'm pointing to a small glass container that I've stuck to the bottom of the shelf with some double-sided tape, and I put my toothbrush, toothpaste, some chapstick, dental floss in there. And here's the hook that's above the two shelves, and that's where I put my keys. You always want to have your keys in a good spot in case you need to grab them and get out of somewhere quickly. Next thing I want to show you is the culmination of solving a problem. And that problem was the space behind the table. There's a lot of space back there. How was I going to take advantage of that? So what I ended up doing is building a little shelf. And what's on it right now is a molly bag that has some clothes in it. And what's under the shelf is even more storage space. So let me start from the top. This is the cooking basket held by these small bungee cords. So take this out. Got my IsoPro stove, tea kettle, mini rice cooker, saucepan. Next to it is this basket, again, that has a damp rid to take moisture out of the air and a blackout curtain for the back. Here's the cool part. This shelf is magnetic. So what I can do is totally remove it. Magnets on the back. Brackets here that catch the magnets. But there was all this space back there, and I was like, what am I gonna do with that space back there? So it turns out this bag can fit back there that has more clothes in it. Okay, cool. What else you got? So check this out. Then under here, I created a second magnetic shelf. Watch this. Pull it out, and we have another shelf. Now, I attached to it a mini cargo net so that I could put stuff in there, clothes, food, dry goods, whatever, and it would be held in there. But that's not all, because underneath that, and it's really going to be hard to see it down in here, but in here there's a little bit more space, and this is where I have some poop bags. So I am trying to take advantage of every single inch of space. So now watch as I put the stuff back. Magnetic shelf number 1, solid. Bag of clothes. On the top. Cooking shelf with magnets. Back in. Cooking utensils. Back in. And then I just bungee that to a hook here and here. That keeps it there. It's never moved. And then basket with damp rid and blackout curtain goes on the side. And then finally, food baskets go back in. I have used every inch of space. Oh, and one more thing for safety's sake. You can see it right through there. Carbon monoxide detector right in there to keep myself safe. Okay, now let's show you what's in the back. So when we first open it, you can see that the back of the trifold mattress is right there in couch mode. So you can just, push it forward if you need to get what's in the back. And here, in this very back piece of the platform, it's cut out and it's connected with a piano hinge. and that way I can lift it up and I can get access to what's in the back. It's about 16 or 18 inches more that I get, and I like it because when I put out the bed, now the bed can go all the way to the back hatch. I don't put my bulk on top of that. It would be my head or my feet, depending on which way I was laying my body down. So it's enough support to handle my head or my feet. This piece of wood is held on one side by some piano wire that's just attached to my table. And on the other side, there's a piece of wood coming out that's anchored underneath the platform. And so between those two things, it holds that piece in pretty good. And if we lift it up, the first thing you see is the platform that I made in my last video, and that's to hold my Icy Breeze portable air conditioner. Not only did I make a platform for the front, but I made one for the back. And here I'm kind of showing you what it would look like if I decided to have it in the back. Very nice little platform there. Now you might wonder, if I have the Icy Breeze in the back there, can I still fold the bed out flat? And the good news is that I can. I would lose the ability, of course, to fold that piece down flat, but luckily I'm still able to spread the bed out, which is what I'm kind of showing right here. Can still put the bed out flat, even if the Icy Breeze is on the shelf in the back. It's a little tighter. It goes all the way up to the back of the passenger seat, but that's okay. All right, let me take the Icy Breeze out because there's a bit more to show here in the back. All right, so under that fold-up piece and next to the platform is this purple duffel bag. I showed in one of my other videos. It has kind of my camping equipment, power strip, extension cord, in case I'm at a campground and I want to connect to shore power. Here I have my Kelty tool roll, and this is a nice bag with these little zippered pockets, and this is where I put the cords for my power stations. You know, those are some thick, hefty cords, and so I like having this little pouch that I can put them in. And of course, if I'm at a campground or at a friend's house, I need those cords to plug the power banks into the wall to charge them up faster, and that fits nicely right in there. Next, I have some peppermint oil spray. I know a lot of people think it doesn't work. Everybody's got their own opinion about mice and things like that, but I do. It's peace of mind for me, and I spray it around my tires if I'm staying at a campground. Smells nice and maybe keeps the mice away. Here are my other two power banks. Currently I have three, two Blue Eddies and an Anchor. And so one of the power banks stays up in the cabin next to the fridge under my little table, and then here's where the other two are stored. That's the second Blue Eddy, and then behind that is the Anchor. Above the power banks, I have a couple shelves. They are both attached to the table. Again, the table legs, those slotted angles. This first shelf here is just big enough to hold a little plastic tub. Right there I have a kind of an abbreviated tool kit, just the tools I would need for a trip. And there's a lot of room still in there. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that. Actually, what I'd like to do is put that tool roll with my power cords in there. And actually, I think that will fit. So, and then I kind of hold that down with these plastic ties. Above that is a shelf that has this wire basket in it, and this is my trash can. I don't know how I found out about these, but these lids are called Gamma lids, and they are absolutely smell proof. So this is a 2.5-gallon bucket with a gamma lid. And I'll be honest with you, if you go to the bathroom in a bag and you got to drive a while before you can throw it out, you could put your poop bag in there and close it up and you will not smell it. So food trash, poop bags, whatever, of course tied up, a poop bag that's tied up. You can put all your trash in there, smelly trash, non-smelly trash, and then when you get to a place where you can ethically dispose of it, I take it out of there and dispose of it. And so that's really great to have that there. Now, here, this isn't going to be able to stay where it is because it's not fitting very well. But this is my Kelty bag that I usually use for clothes. It used to be where that shelf is now for the icy breeze. But clearly, it's going to have to go somewhere else. Well, I'll have to work on figuring where it should go instead of there. Here are the cutouts that came with the car. Microfiber towels are there for when I wash the car. Here, very important, I have a battery jumper and a tire inflator. On this side, I have more of my cleaning supplies, glass cleaner, all-purpose cleaner, and I have my laundry soap there. There's a 12-volt right there. So if I wanted to, one of the power banks sitting in the back here, I could put the cord over and plug it into the car. I don't usually charge my power banks that way because it's pretty slow, but I could if I wanted to. Now let's take a look under that shelf for the icy breeze. Of course, I made it so that it is removable, and underneath that is my cart. I don't go anywhere on any trip without this cart. It's super big, it's heavy, but you know, if you got to carry 2 or 3 power banks plus your clothes into a hotel or a friend's house or something, it just saves everything, your back, your legs, from having to carry things in your arms. So that cart goes with me wherever I go, and it's really been a game changer. But if we take it out, we finally get to the bottom, but I have a couple more surprises. I put a couple of these cargo nets. I attached them underneath the bottom of the platform. I want to use up all available space. And so right now there's just a couple of paper towel rolls in there, but other things could go in there if necessary. I just wanted to add here that I recently put on these roof rails with the help of my friend Albert, and I did that because my goal is to put a solar panel up there. I actually have purchased a solar panel. I just need more time to figure out, secure it to the roof rails. So I'm going to work on that after this summer vacation. So that'll be a project for the fall. Thanks for checking out my van tour. We'll see you soon.